America was founded on the principle that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Therefore, being an American is solely based on one's allegiance to this American ideal, rather than based on any heritage such as lineage, race, skin color, ethnicity, religion, country of origin, etc.
America has always been a nation of immigrants. Generations of immigrants around the world have come to the new continent searching for better life. Chinese immigrants came to America in the mid-19th century. They searched for a better life and made critical contributions to America's economic foundation and growth in farming, mining, and particularly the Transcontinental Railroad. In 1868, representing China, Anson Burlingame negotiated the U.S.-China Burlingame Treaty and established friendly relations, bilateral trade, and free flow of immigration between the two countries.
After the Panic of 1873, the growing anti-Chinese sentiment triggered more and more violence and policies targeting Chinese migrants as scapegoats. In 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act. It was the first and only federal law that proscribed entry of one specific group of people entirely based on race, ethnicity. Senator George Hoar from Massachusetts was the only member of Congress who voted against the law, and denounced it as nothing less than the legalization of racial discrimination. Frederick Douglass also firmly spoke out against Chinese exclusion. The subsequent 60 years witnessed more anti-Chinese legislations passed by Congress and states, and numerous violence against Chinese immigrants. The Chinese exclusion laws were subsequently extended to people from other countries in Asia.
After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, China became America's ally in fighting Japan. President Roosevelt urged Congress to correct the historic mistake. Pearl Buck S. and her husband formed a citizens' committee to lobby repealing the Chinese Exclusion Act. On December 17, 1943, President Roosevelt signed the Magnuson Act, repealing the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. It was the first step to remove discrimination in immigration policy.
Following the civil rights movement, our country has made significant progress in expanding the founding ideal to more and more Americans. In 1965, President Johnson signed the Immigration and Nationality Act with overwhelming bipartisan support. This landmark immigration reform eliminated race discrimination in immigration. Since then, Chinese and Asian Americans have not only become part of American society, but also made significant contributions to every fabric of American society.
Today, we not only pay respect to the previous generations of Chinese Americans who endured and persevered, but also pay heartfelt tribute to those who dedicated their lives to America's founding principle, including President Jefferson, President Lincoln, Anson Burlingame, Senator Hoar, Frederick Douglass, Pearl Buck, President Roosevelt, Rosa Parks, President Johnson, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and many others.
And today, we reaffirm our allegiance to the American ideal, and our commitment to unite all Americans of all communities to build a more perfect union that guarantees justice and equality for every American.